Welcome to the Comic Scoop, March 9th weekly review. I have quite the selection here, and I'm going to start it off with all the number ones that came out this week. And starting with Little Monsters, spinning out of Image Comics. This is written by Jeff Lemire and art done by Dustin Nguyen. This variant cover specifically is Jeff Lemire's artwork himself. I love so far everything Lemire has done. He's a really great writer, especially with horror. And this is a really interesting story. So we start off with these children. Each page kind of introduces another character. There's very minimal narration in this. Just like the very first panel says, "These are the children," and the rest throughout is mostly just the dialogue between the children. I really love like the black and white art with just the subtle color that's in there. Really brings it out more. But it's pretty neat. So there's these kids in this abandoned city, or maybe it might even be post-apocalyptic. They don't really give too much knowledge of why the world is this way currently or what they're doing here. But these children do mention about waiting for him or he, and I'm really curious to who this person is. They just play these children games every night, and some of them are getting kind of tired of the same old routine. You know, they eat these rats. They come out at night. I can only assume they're vampires, and it's a pretty neat story. I just really enjoy, I guess, the element of how alone they are. It's just these children and no one else is in the city. And that's what that opening caption means. And there's no more narration until we get towards the end, where it restates that first sentence. And these are the children. And for longer than they could have remembered, they've been all alone. And by the end of it, are they truly as alone as they thought they were? Really curious to see where that's going to go. Alright, next one is Punisher number 1. This one is really awesome. So, Punisher, this is his first series in a bit. This is a variant cover done by Alex Ross. This is a timeless cover. And what's especially fun of this cover coming out now is Alex Ross did the timeless variants like towards the end of 2020. So it's over a year later, coming out with another timeless cover, and it makes it a little perfect because I can just slip this right in with a collection that I already have. But it's cool. It starts off within Frank Castle's perspective of that fateful day when he and his family were gunned down. Then it goes into this really awesome spread that shows all these different images from various Punisher comics throughout the whole years. Some of these I recognize from my own collections. It's really cool. So, the King of Killers. We got a pretty nice selection of writers. Jason Aaron, Jesus Saez, and Paul Azaseca. And Saez is also the artist. So, it's pretty neat. We have the Punisher, who is now leading the Hand as the High Slayer for the Hand, and this story's cool. So we go in between, I guess, the current time right now with the Punisher being part of the Hand. He has the new symbol right there, and we also get little glimpses of how he got into this position, and it shows like him taking on the Hand all on his own. And once he's defeated all of them, he is given the rank of being the High Slayer. So I'm curious to see where this arc's going to go, what they're going to do with it. Now here is Hit Me, coming from AWA Upshot. This is a really interesting story. So it's written by Krista Faust and Priscilla Petriatz. Pietratus. I'm not sure exactly how that's pronounced. I have like 3 different options, so I'll find out later in time. But it's the artist, and this one's pretty interesting. So I do give little warnings, some graphic images in here. So we have Lulu who works, I guess, like she gets paid to be beaten. And it's pretty interesting, not like a traditional sex worker, but she goes in to talk about like what different kinds of marks and hits cost, and she has a good relationship here with her guard. And they go to meet a regular client that she meets every like once a month or so, and something just doesn't feel right when she's gonna go see him. And when she ends up going into the hotel room, there's some other guy there with a gun. And during all this commotion, the guard comes in to save her, and there's a big shootout. Once Lulu comes to, her buddy is safe, the other two are dead, and they find a sack of diamonds. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with them, where that sack of diamonds going to lead them. All right, now this is the final first issue of the week. This is Radiant Red coming from Image Comics. Now, this is really neat. Radiant Red is spinning out of the Radiant Black series, who made her first appearance in Radiant Black 6. This is cool. Yeah, cover B done by Tom Whalen. There's also a Radiant Black cover that's similar that I want to track down. But it's pretty neat. So it just starts off with the main character, Satomi, I believe is her name, and she's, I guess, using her power to rob banks, which is not very heroically, and has been robbing quite a bit of banks, has a whole stack of cash there. But shows, like, how her living situation with her ex is kind of iffy, and has, like, she's estranged to her family. It's been looking forward to moving to Japan for some years, and now here's this guy that says that his employers are looking for someone like her, and doesn't need to hide behind her teacher alias, that they know exactly what she's capable of. So I'm curious to see what is it that they have on her, and what she'll do, what's she gonna be doing with her powers, and these people who know what's up. So those are all the first issues of the week. They're all great, really. I recommend all of them for sure. If you're more into like action stuff, definitely get the new Punisher thing. Radiant Red's gonna be pretty awesome, but my number one pick of the week is definitely Little Monsters. That's really awesome world building in here. I'm looking forward to number 2. All right, well, we're gonna move on to the next set. All right, so last week was the first week that we haven't had any of the lives or deaths of Wolverine coming out, and with that lapse, this week we got both issue 4 for lives and issue 4 of deaths, and I have two different variant covers here, which have a slightly similar theme-ish, I guess. Now I'm going to start with the 10 Lives of Wolverine. This one's cool. This is a variant cover done by Kevin Eastman, who is well known for being one of the two creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So this is done in his style. This is kind of neat. I really like the Venom just kind of hidden there in the background, and I don't know, maybe it alludes to being something more within this issue. But it's cool. So Omega Red, or in the past, Omega Red has taken over Dr. Cornelius's body and is just torturing Wolverine on the X table, and on like in the Weapon X program. And remember how there's like the Venom there on the cover? Well, there's some sort of parasite that's within Wolverine's blood, and that's kind of curious. I'm intrigued to see what they're gonna do with that. Yeah, this has been neat. We see him like in Weapon X. Now here's like, 1945, or There's like a fighter pilot that's being possessed by Omega Red, and Wolverine's trying to take him down. That's a really nice cover right here where Sabretooth is stopping the Weapon X version of Wolverine, who is possessed by Omega Red. Two of them face together. And there's a part in here that I really enjoy where Wolverine's starting to become wise to the idea that no matter what you do, in this, I really love this page. Like the panels with the electric like cracks in there are just fantastic. But in this part, he's basically understanding that no matter how long he stays in the past or what he does, no matter what things he tries to write, the outcome is always the same. So it's almost kind of like the future is inevitable. This one was really neat. There's just one more issue left, and I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. Now, the 10 Deaths of Wolverine #4. I really love this cover. We have, again, Venom over here on the side, or what looks like Venom, some kind of symbiote. And its long, disgusting tongue has Wolverine tied up, about to go into the mouth with the title all shattered there in the back. It's really neat. Now, this one is done by Chris Bacalo, and who I'm excited for. He's going to be doing the artwork for the Moon Knight Black, White, and Blood. That's going to be coming out, I believe, next month. And this one's cool. So it shows how the future Wolverine ends up going, back in time, where we have been following him trying to stop Moira. We get to see Moira's true colors, which kind of leaves some bad taste in my mouth. And she's trying to use Forge's ray gun to, get her revenge and take the powers of other mutants. It's this real big, heavy one. And we have like Wolverine and the rest of his Wolverine family all together trying to stop Moira and get to the bottom of this. Both of them are really great. This whole series, or both series, has been really awesome, and kind of sad that we just have one more week for both of them. But I'm also excited to get to the conclusion of that. So now on the theme of Wolverine and such, we can go into Sabretooth #2, which came out this week. If you remember from my other video with Sabretooth 1, how much I loved it. It was really awesome, and this one did not disappoint either. First, I just really love this cover. It's fantastic with Sabretooth trying to break out of the bars right there, the slobbering. So this one's cool. We the last one ended with these different mutants being exiled into the pit with Sabretooth. And we are introduced to them here. There's Necra, Oya, and I haven't figured out why. Like, each of them have a number above them, and some of them have, repeating numbers there. Yeah, there's Madison Jeffries, Melter, and Third Eye. There's Jeffries there. There he is. So they're all put into this pit to serve a short term for breaking whatever laws they broke, and unknown to them, they aren't just being put into this endless void or whatever they were promised, but they are sent to what's become hell now, because Sabretooth have shaped the pit into his own image, and we just have these different characters trying to escape Sabretooth's wrath until Third Eye connects more, and he actually helps them all see what's really happening to them here. And it's kind of cool. It's almost like a Matrix moment. So they're all just in the ground here, being held up by the roots, and everything else is in their mind. So Third Eye is seeking help from outside, like astral projecting there, and comes across Mole, who was once almost murdered by Sabretooth, and it's kind of interesting that he's the one who hears their call and is going to try to help them. And no one will listen to them, and I don't know. I believe this is going to be segueing into a new Exiles series with all of them together. Yeah, this one's really cool. Don't sleep on Sabretooth. Next up, I have the third and what I believe is the final issue of Superior 4, coming out of the Devil's Reign event in Marvel. Now, this is a really awesome variant cover. It's done by Maria Wolf and Mike Spicer. I really loved this cover. It's so great with the Superior Hulk. Yeah, so we pick off from where the last one ended, where 616 Dr. Octopus is in prison now, and I guess in one of the past multiverses that they had went to, one of the past Earths, Otto had dropped some blood, and from the Earth of that blood, it created what is basically an Otto man thing. So he has a new variant that's also, man thing, and they bond together. And that's how this Otto gets his new arms and breaks out of prison. So while that's happening, we have the Superior Octopus that's recruiting the other three, Ottos. And we get some backstory of how the Superior Octopus gained his abilities, that he was part of a multiversal war with other Ottos, and so he's basically trying to stop that from happening again. But to do that, he wants to strip the others of their powers, and they're not too happy about that. And 616 Otto comes to help them, and they all, beat up the Superior Octopus, and they band back together, which is kind of nice. And each of them, I guess, is going to get the ending that they want. Or at least that's what Octavius is telling them. You never know what's his plans here. And I just really love, so the man thing, Otto, wants to be killed after all this. And instead of that, what Otto does, hoping to correct the wrongs that he has made, is he goes back to that one universe where they killed the Spider-Man variant of himself. And they leave this creature behind, and he becomes their new Spider-Man. Yeah, it's a really cute one. I like that a lot. It was neat. And now, staying on the theme of Devil's Reign, I do have the Moon Knight Devil's Reign. This one was really awesome. This is just like the standard cover A. But I absolutely love it. Like, the bars in it look fantastic with Moon Knight there. And Torma from Third Eye pointed out that he enjoyed the title is behind the bars as well. It's, kind of like there with him. This cover is done by Federico Sabatini, I believe. Written by Jed McKay, who's been writing the current Moon Knight series. That's been flawless. And this is drawn by Rod Reescover. Rod Reescover, I believe, is who did the cover. Sorry. Rod Reese did the cover of this. I'm getting all tongue-tied here. And Sabatini is who does the interior artwork. And his artwork's neat. It almost makes me think of an anime for a little bit here, and it's cool. So we have this, C-list character, 8-Ball, talking some nonsense about how big of a baller he is. He's taking on Spider-Man, Moon Knight, and then he asks his new cellmate, so what's brought you in here? And mask beef. Oh yeah, did you have a name? What was your name? Moon Knight. And he's just talking to the wrong guy. But then we follow this 8-Ball and show how he's not welcomed in any circles. And there's even this guy here with a moon, crescent moons carved into his head who's bullying him around. Then Mark Spector comes by and he's telling him to hop off his cellmate. And when this guy asks who is he says that he's the guy that carved that moon in his head, and this guy just hightails it. And from there, it's kind of like this battle on like trying to get a one up on Moon Knight. He goes to these other guys who Moon Knight has, beaten down, and once again, Mark Spector shows that he is just too awesome. And then they even corner him into the shower here. There's like five guys. There's a guard that puts him in there. And while this is all happening, Mark Spector is looking for a guy named Man Mountain Marco. And allegedly, he's the champion of this underground fighting ring that they have here. And once Mark Spector walks out of that shower completely untouched, other than the blood of the guys he beat, he says there's two things he wants: a shot at the title and a mask. And then we have like this montage section of him just beating down all these different prisoners, slowly making his way up to that title match. And this was really neat. And also in between all this happening, we get a little glimpse as to why he is specifically looking for Marco. So in his midnight mission, there was this lady that came to Mr. Knight and told him that she had a child with Marco and is afraid that he's going to steal their daughter. So he said that, that he's not going to let that happen. And as this fight is going on, and Moon Knight is kind of, holding his own with this mountain of a man, no pun, pun not intended. He reveals that he purposely came to prison to bring this guy down. That no cop, no, B-list villains, which is a little jab at the Thunderbolts, can actually like bring him in. That this is all like done on purpose, specifically for him to get down on this guy, and just Moon Knight at his best. This was fantastic. I'm gonna try to speed it up a little more through my last few because just saw the runtime and I'm not trying to have this video go on too long. But so this is Primos, also from AWA Upshot. This is issue number 2. It's a really neat cover here. It's the cover A done by Dave Johnson, and we get a little more of a backstory between the Mayan brothers who had went to outer space and came back centuries later into like the modern time. We got a little more of what happened with them once they came back to Earth and the falling off between the two. And while this is happening, we are introduced to Javier, the smooth James Bond-like cousin, who is, I guess, one of the trio that the main character will be a part of, who are gonna stop the bad brother at the end. But I don't know, it's cool. I've been enjoying this. I really like the world building that this story does. But I'm kind of bummed that this is issue 2 out of 4, and we don't even really have all 3 cousins together yet. And I feel like by the end of this, they're doing great world building. I really like the story, and by issue 4, I'm definitely gonna be wanting more. And I did not mean for that to rhyme. So here is Crimson Reign number 3. This one's really awesome. It's the connecting cover variant. So I guess there are 2 connecting covers, but the other one's of the Knights of Ren. This is like the Empire, classic characters. I really like that, like the TIE Defenders from Rebels in the background there. This was a really good one. The fire in the back. It's done by Ario Anindito and Edgar Delgado, I've been following a lot of. It's really cool. So we meet this character, Sava, Madeline's son, and she talks about how her life before Order 66, she was a Sava, which she studied the Force and specifically the dark side. But now she's just a junk dealer, and anything with the Force or Jedi is outlawed. And these stormtroopers are giving her trouble, but Kira comes to save her from this stormtrooper trouble, and recruits her to her cause. Offers all these Sith artifacts that she has collected over the years through her mentor Maul, and puts Madeline to the task of finding Yoda, because it's they're all certain that Yoda's still alive. And it's a really neat read where we go through like all this detective work on how she's gonna figure out what has happened to Yoda, and we even make our way all the way to Dagobah and meet some interesting creatures there. That was really cool. King of Spies, Image Comics. This is the final issue, which I was really sad about. I figured it was just going to be a 4-issue series. I really loved King of Spies. It was fantastic. Um, I this is another one I definitely recommend, and give it like another month or two, and there will be a trade out, so you can have all 4 collected together. The art's been awesome. We get to see, it literally picks up from where the last one left off with the guys in the tunnel, and gets rid of these brothers. We get some more of Roland's backstory and his love life basically, and well, yeah, it's pretty cool. He's suckered into confronting the agency because they're torturing his son, but that's all a ruse. And Roland definitely has one up his sleeve for them. And this is the final issue, and made me really like sit there and think a lot, but I enjoyed it. And like his whole task in this miniseries was to rid the world of the monsters. And what is it that he wants at the end here? Well, he refers to himself as the final monster. And I'll just leave it at that. So I only have like 2 more things to show you guys. This is my Peach Momoko cover of the week, Strange Academy. And I looked through this one. It's actually I'm curious to look more into this series. It's really neat, but it starts off with Brother Voodoo is tracking down the villain named Gaslamp, who has given some dark magics to one of the students in the academy. And then we have Doyle here, who's like Dormammu's son, and he gets it in with all the other students, trying to like show like, no, this is who I truly am. And I don't know, this is pretty neat. I really like that. I really love this Carnage Forever cover done by Peach Momoko, though. That's really why I got it. And kind of same for this next one. Now this is Spawn 327, and this is the cover B done by Todd McFarlane. It is an homage cover to his Torment from Spider-Man when this came out in 1990. But yeah, McFarlane's cover of Torment. It's really cool, very iconic. This appears in many other things, and I really enjoy that this arc, I guess, they had called Forment, which is a really fun pun there. But yeah, it's great. It has Haunts on the cover, and I didn't even realize that Haunt's a different character that McFarlane created for Image years ago, and I did not realize that they were going to be doing a little tie-in with Haunt into the Spawn universe here, and so I started reading this, and it seemed interesting, but I actually didn't get far into it because I want to get the other 2 issues to see where do we bring Haunt into this world. And I've been keeping up with a couple of the Spawn things, but I had no idea that like each title was just kind of like a standalone thing within this universe and not like all like intervening with each other. So I gotta check out the other 2. Well, anyway, that's my show this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you all soon. And until then, keep on reading.